Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer is in Dodge City at Alfalfa U. First, meet Courtney Duxbury, Technical Nutrition Analytic Consultant with Rock River Laboratories, and Dave Murdock, a hay and forage field marketing specialist with New Holland. Next, enjoy our weekly Kansas Soybean update. Then we're back with Kyle at Alfalfa U with Dr. Bruce Anderson, an Extension Forage Specialist with the University of Nebraska, and Dr. Don Miller, Director of Product Development at Alforex Seeds.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle and Courtney Duxbury as they discuss total tract fiber digestibility, a new testing method for forages.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer in Dodge City at Alfalfa U, visiting with Courtney Duxbury. She is with Rock River Laboratories, and they are implementing, I wouldn't say developed, but you're implementing a new way of testing forage. Can you tell us how this came about and why it came about?
Yeah, so this test called TT-NDFD is called Total Tract Fiber Digestibility, was developed at the University of Wisconsin by Dr. David Combs, and we have been the first lab to adopt this new technology and license it through the University of Wisconsin. And it's a more complete way to estimate your fiber digestibility for ruminant animals.
Well, one thing from what I've seen today is the old test showed two samples that appeared identical, but on the new test, but what they found was the performance of the two were not the same. Your test shows that difference in performance.
Yeah, so with something like RFV, you're just taking the ADF and the NDF, and you're not fully evaluating the whole digestibility of that sample. It severely underestimates the complexity of fiber digestion. So with this TT-NDFD, it's actually the first digestion analyte available that can be related directly back to milk production in lactating dairy cows. So for every 2 to 3 point increase or change in TT-NDFD, you will see a pound increase in milk as well.
So how does this test take about, or how is it taken, and how long does it take?
So you would take your sample just like any other forage sample. This can only be done on specific forages like corn silage, hays, haylage, and small grain silages. We can't analyze it on whole TMRs yet. So then you take your sample as normal, send it to our lab, and the day that we get the result or get the sample, you'll have the results in the afternoon by NIR technology. And it just runs about $26, so it's not all that expensive. If we run into wet chemistry, then it takes a lot more time and a lot more money.
Now, NIR, that refers to?
Near infrared spectrometry, which most feed analysis is done that way. I'd say about 90% of our business is by NIR technology. It's a very accurate and cost-effective way to test your forages.
Well, we're visiting about new testing methods for forages. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Dodge City. Back to you, Jamie.
Folks, stay with us. Kyle will be back with Dave Murdock from New Holland.
We started farming in 1970. It was harder work then than it is now, a lot more physical work and the wear and tear on my knees and my body. Now here I'm 70 years old. Well, I started having knee pain here 4 or 5 years ago, and so I was looking for a stem cell clinic, and lo and behold, my good friend John Farley and Ken Wood, who'd been customers and friends for a number of years, opened their clinic, and in about 2 months my heel was a lot better, and then at the end of 3 months and then going on 4, why my knee started making significant improvement, and it's sure been a blessing, because before I had the stem cells, well, I'd be driving a tractor, and if I sat in a tractor for 2 or 3 hours, when I got out, I'd have to stop and get the kinks out of my knee and shake it, and today that's not a problem.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source, together we grow.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
We're back. Let's join Kyle and Dave as they discuss swathers, mower conditioners.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Dave Murdock. He's with New Holland, and New Holland is the early innovator of what I call as swathers, or took the process of mowing and putting hay into a swath or a windrow all in one operation. Can you tell us about that, Dave?
Yeah, back in 1964. Before that time frame, everybody was using a separate sickle bar mower, and then they had a separate conditioner assembly that they had to pull either in tandem with the tractor or by separately going down through the field. New Holland in 1964 came out with the original hay-bine mower conditioner, which combined cutting and conditioning into one operation, and it basically revolutionized the industry because we were able to combine operations. We gathered the technology, and in 1965 we came out with the Chevron roll conditioners on the haybine. That technology and innovation has worked well enough that we really haven't had to do much of anything to it as far as improving the way that that system works. It provides a very uniform method of conditioning the crop, conditioning the stem so that the moisture escapes from the stem, but minimizes the damage to the leaf of the alfalfa plant so that you still retain the leaves and the nutrient value of the plant to maximize your feed value efficiency.
Isn't it amazing, though, that you can take that technology from the early to mid 60s and you use it on so many different crops all around the world, and yet the farmer expects you to make a implement that can do whatever they're asking it to do in all different kinds of conditions?
Well, it's certainly a challenge. The nice thing about this is that we have several different adjustments that we can work with. So depending on whether the customer is doing legumes, whether he's doing grasses, whether he's doing high tonnage forages, we have the capability to make those adjustments to the conditioning system so that we can maximize the efficiency of the conditioning, which maximizes the efficiency of the dry down, which allows the customer to get into the field more quickly so he can get the crop up at its optimum. So it's a very big challenge, but it's one that we have risen to over the years, and we continue to lead the industry that way.
Now, a few years ago, there was another innovation that was made when we went from a sickle bar to discs.
Yes, that's correct. That happened in the early 1970s. Disc mowers came into play here as a result of the South American fire ant invasion that we had. It was a design that allowed us to cut through ant beds without having to stop and unplug the cutter bar and the conditioner assembly. So that was a true innovation. The other big advantage that a disc mower gives us, or a disc mower conditioner gives us, is an increase in ground speed. Even by today's standards, if you have the most current technology on a sickle bar mower conditioner, you're limited to a maximum ground speed of about 7 miles an hour as far as cutting speed. A disc mower conditioner allows us to start out at about 6 miles an hour and go as fast as you want to go. I have a lot of customers that are running self-propelled machines that are running 10, 12, 14 miles an hour through the field, and they're putting 16 to 19 feet through the header on a disc mower, conditioning the crop and doing a very good job of getting the dry down and covering the larger number of acres that we have to cover on a daily basis now in order to keep these guys on their 28 to 32 day cycle as far as cutting the crops.
We're visiting with New Holland. We're visiting about swathers, mower, conditioners. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Next up is this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Charles Atkinson, a Great Bend, Kansas producer, is joining us. He is also one of the directors on the American Soybean Association. And Charles, we've wrapped up the 2016 Commodity Classic and record numbers, and always a great time to hear what's going on and talk to your fellow soybean producers.
It is a really good time. We have had record numbers. Over 9,500 people's been here, so we're excited about that. That kind of crushed our record we had last year, but also by bringing in the agricultural equipment manufacturers really helped out to make the trade show bigger, and we're just excited about having the opportunity to visit with all these agriculture producers, whether they be in soybeans, corn, sorghum, wheat. We all have issues that we want to discuss, but we all have issues that tie together, and we need to have one voice when we go to Washington.
What's been some of the things discussed in the soybean circles?
We're real excited about the GMO labeling bill that's been put up. We're excited to see how that's going to transpire. We're also wanting to really push on transportation as far as making sure we get the funding for the lock-in dams. And, of course, the biodiesel is still a big issue because that generates a lot of revenue for our soybean producers.
There's a lot of things that are stagnating right at the moment, and it's sometimes in an election year hard to get that type of a push.
We pretty well know right up the front that we're not going to get a whole lot done this year because it is an election year. But then again, we also know that we have to push through what we can, and then we'll see what happens in November.
As a member of the directors for American Soybean Association, it's always good to have that Kansas voice as a member of ASA's board of directors.
We all have different issues across the state as soybean producers, but we all work together, and we need to have our voice up there. We need to have our membership because that's what drives us. Myself, when I go, I don't know what your concerns are unless our members let us know, and that's definitely good to have our voice up there, especially when we can go up with some of our ag committee people and work with them. They know where Kansas stands.
Because of the fact such a strong contingent in the nation's capital as far as supporting agriculture and agriculture's needs.
We got some great people up there working for Kansas Ag. We just need to make sure that we can take our voice up and let them know what our needs are here in the state.
If a soybean producer in the state has a concern, they can get a hold of you, they can get a hold of the office there in Topeka?
Yes, definitely. If there's some concerns, feel free to get hold of myself, get hold of the staff. We can get the answers to them, get their concerns taken up when we go.
Sounds good. Charles, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you.
That is Charles Atkinson, who is a producer from Great Bend, Kansas. He also serves on the board of directors of the American Soybean Association. He's been our guest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. After the break, we'll join Kyle and Dr. Bruce Anderson.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
I think Blueville does a great job of being educational in nature. They answer people's questions. They do it willingly. So we really appreciate that up close and personal approach that they have and how well they listen to their customers and respond to their needs.
And they're very prompt with things that we need to have done. And so we're very pleased with the service.
It's kind of a one-stop shop for all of your gardening and landscape needs.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's catch up with Kyle and Dr. Anderson as they visit about irrigating alfalfa.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Bruce Anderson. He's with the University of Nebraska. Heard his presentation this morning about irrigating alfalfa and talked a lot about what that profile of moisture, how important that is to the yields. Can you talk about that just a bit on what that profile does for the alfalfa?
Well, when we're looking at irrigating our alfalfa, one of the things that we discover very quickly is that it's almost impossible for us to design an irrigation system that's going to be able to meet all the water demands that the alfalfa plant has during the summertime. And so one of the things that we try to do early on in the season is to build up an extra soil water reservoir that the plants will be able to tap into when the water demands become so great during the summer that we can't keep up with irrigation. That's where building up a good profile during that early first growth period can be so valuable to us. I like to recommend that growers tend to get at first cutting to have their soil profile at field capacity all the way down to about 6 to 8 feet so that they have plenty of reserve moisture there to take care of some of the extra water needs they're going to have during the summer.
Per cutting across the plains, do we know about how much moisture per cutting that we'll take either out of the soil or out of rainfall or out of irrigation?
Well, it certainly varies during the season. During the cooler time of the year, especially in the springtime or late in the fall, we may only need 4 to 5 inches of moisture to produce a ton of alfalfa. As we get into the heat of the summer, it's not at all unusual to be looking at 6, 7, 8 inches of water being needed during that time. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to keep up with water demands during that hot period.
Well, if we can have 2+ inches of moisture stored per foot of soil, if we have a clay or a loam soil, so then how many feet can we expect those roots to explore or use?
Well, age of stand really influences that to some extent, but if we've been doing a good job of irrigating and allowing the alfalfa plants sometimes to dry down a little bit so that they're trying to grow into moisture that may be deeper, we may find that we do have the roots getting down in an irrigated soil, maybe as much as 6 to 8 feet deep. In dryland fields, we may have roots that get down 10, 12 feet deep, especially as we get into 4, 5, 6-year-old fields.
Now, you mentioned this morning a good analogy when you're planting alfalfa to get a good stand, and I thought it was very graphic and easy for all of us to understand.
Well, one of the things that we need to have if we're going to get a good, quick, thick stand started is to have real good seed-to-soil contact. And a lot of the soil may be dead air spaces typically when we're planting in loose soil. So we want to firm that soil very effectively. Rolling can be one of the ways of doing it. Using irrigation water can firm it. But I like to check that field by looking at it and being a field that is so firm that we could actually very easily bounce a basketball on that field in order to get the kind of seed-to-soil contact we want for establishing alfalfa.
We're visiting with Bruce Anderson. He is with the University of Nebraska at Lincoln. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after the break and meet Dr. Don Miller with Alforex Seeds.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and Dr. Don Miller, who explains a new set of traits in alfalfa that makes it more digestible.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer from Alfalfa U. I have the opportunity to visit with Don Miller. He's with Alforex. They've developed a new set of traits in alfalfa that makes it more digestible and a better feed crop for most ruminants. Can you explain that to us, Don?
Yeah, we know that as alfalfa matures, it deposits more lignin into the tissue, and that interferes with animal digestion of that forage. And so what we've done on the breeding end is develop an alfalfa that has less lignin deposited in the tissue over time. And so we can actually provide an alfalfa variety that will have less lignin in the tissue and have a wider harvest window for that producer.
Yeah, because alfalfa we expect to harvest it every 28 days, and we normally saw the quality reduce greatly after 28 days, but that isn't the case now that we have this lower lignin.
Yeah, now if the producer harvests at 28 days, he has a potential of having even higher level of forage quality. But if for some reason, weather delay or whatever, that he has to delay his harvest on that field from, say, 28 days to 35 days, he still has an alfalfa that has good quality. By delaying seven days, he still has a decent quality alfalfa hay.
Well, and you could possibly get by with one less entire harvest during the year, which would save that much in cost.
Yeah, you've reduced your equipment costs across that field, and also you're getting a little bit more tonnage because you've had the alfalfa grow from 28 days to 35 days. You're gaining about 7 days of growth on that alfalfa variety.
Now, the lignin also allows any forage to stand, so when we reduce the amount of lignin in the crop, does that mean that the crop will have trouble standing up?
We've reduced the lignin about 7 to 10%. That's enough to give us a really good quality advantage, but not so much that we're worried about lodging in this alfalfa. We've been out on the market for over a year with this new alfalfa, and we haven't had any lodging issues. So it's not going to be any better or any worse than varieties we've had in the past as far as lodging.
Now, as you've looked at having this out, it's out over a number of acres.
Yeah, we had it out this last year over 10,000 acres. We've had a lot of feedback from farmers that have been using this. They've been happy with it. And also we've done forage quality tests on the majority of those acres, and we're performing the way we thought we would as far as forage quality by reducing lignin.
And there's also been quality contests won with the alfalfa already.
Yeah, at the World Dairy Expo, this our Higest 360 won that quality counts category on forage quality, and so we're really excited about that. Really seems to be giving us a good product out there.
Now, you were able to accomplish this the old-fashioned way through breeding and not through genetic modification.
Yeah, this is conventional plant breeding, which means we don't have to charge a tech fee, and so it's a lot more economical for that producer to buy that alfalfa seed now because it's conventional plant breeding, and we didn't have to go through all the additional cost of a GMO development.
We're visiting with Don Miller. He's with Alforex. This is Kyle Bauer reporting from Alfalfa U at Dodge City, Kansas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.